Hi, I'm Kim Skildum-Reed from Power Sponsorship. Welcome to Sponsorship Proposal Basics in about 10 minutes. Before we start talking about how proposals should be done, let's talk about how proposals usually are done, because 99% of proposals get it wrong. 99% of proposals concentrate on your needs, not the sponsor's needs, and sponsors are always looking for what's in it for them. 99% of proposals make the sponsor do all the work. They make the sponsor dig for relevance, why it's right for their brand, why it's right for their target markets, as well as what to do with it, how to leverage it, how they're going to use it to achieve their objectives. 99% of proposals don't make a business case. Even if you are dealing with a decision maker, chances are they're going to have to get buy-in from a number of stakeholders internally, and those stakeholders will be making their decision on that buy-in based on your proposal. If the business case isn't compelling, they're not going to support it. 99% of proposals offer the same four benefits. That is, logos on things, tickets to things, some kind of hospitality, and some kind of an official designation. When you do that, it commoditizes you, and you absolutely do not want to be a commodity when a sponsor looks at your proposal. And 99% of proposals are hard to read. There's not enough information, there's not the right information, they're structured poorly, and they're unprofessionally presented. All of those things are things that sponsors look for to see whether you are the kind of quality and professionalism that they want to align with. All of these things together, that's why 99% of proposals fail. The outcome you're trying to achieve with your proposals is clearly to get a great sponsor to say yes to your offer at a fair price. In order to do that, you have four proposal development goals. The first one is that you want to be submitting fewer, better proposals. You want to be submitting them to highly targeted sponsors. You want to create highly customized offers, and those will attract a much higher asking price. You want to make it easy for the sponsor to sell the offer internally. You also want to make it easy for them to say yes, so they can visualize exactly how it's going to work for them and their brand. And finally, you want to use this as a forum to showcase your professionalism and commercial orientation. Now we're going to go through the elements of a proposal. We will be going through each of those segments separately. Now you should know that the lengths of each of those segments could vary from one type of organization and one type of an event or a property to another. But for an organized, professional feel, I want you to start each segment on a new page. The first two pages of your proposal provide the setup for the rest of the content. Now the first page is clearly the cover. There's not going to be a lot of text on the cover. You don't want to put a lot of sell on the cover. You just want to make it obvious what you're trying to sell. And that's going to be different depending on what type of rights you're going to be selling. If you're selling naming rights, you would title it the Brand X Fishing Expo, for instance. If you're selling presenting sponsorship, you would say the Fishing Expo presented by Brand X. Any other type of sponsorship, you would say Brand X and the Fishing Expo. The only other things that you would put on your cover page are the date and some copyright wording. Now page 2 is about setting the stage. This is sort of the first part where you're going to be able to put some real personality into it. Put a great photo there. Put a wonderful quote there, or one compelling statistic that really is fantastic. Now this is optional. You don't have to have this page, but it can really work well. But here's the thing. If you're going to do it, it has to be arresting. The next couple of pages are going to be about painting the picture, really making that potential sponsor understand what it is you're seeking sponsorship around. On page 3, I want you to overview the opportunity. Use really descriptive words. Make it really fleshed out. Talk about the experience. Talk about what your target markets love about what you do. Talk about your relationship with those people. What you don't want to do on this page or anywhere in the proposal is to use guilt, to position yourself as needy or worthy, or to refer to any specific financial needs your organization may have, because this isn't about underwriting specific costs. This is about selling marketing opportunities, so stick to that. On page 4, what you want to do is create kind of a fact sheet about your property. This is the date, the location, the cost of participation, any endorsements or affiliations, your estimated attendance or whatever. What you would put on this fact sheet would be different from one kind of an event or program to another. The idea here is that you're just trying to get this housekeeping out of the way so you can get back to talking about how this works for the sponsor. The next few pages are going to be about your marketing plan, who you're targeting, why you're targeting them, and how you're going to reach them. On page 5, I want you to describe your target markets, and I want you to segment them primarily psychographically, that is, based on their motivations for being involved in what you're doing, their overall life priorities, and their lifestyle. You do also want to include psychographic indicators that would matter to a potential sponsor. For instance, if you're targeting Jeep, and some of your segments consider themselves to be highly adventurous or having an adventurous spirit, then you would make sure to put that into those psychographic profiles. You also want to put the most important markets to them on the top. So if you have 5 target markets and 2 of them are of particular interest to Jeep, you would either put those 2 on the top of the 5, or you could just leave the other 3 out altogether. On pages 6 and 7, you want to overview your marketing plan. What marketing messages are you going to be using, and how are you going to get those messages to your target markets? A sponsor really needs to understand this, plus it really showcases your professionalism. You do also want to be upfront about what is and isn't confirmed in your media plan. Now we're at the most important part of your proposal. This is absolutely the most critical part to get right, to get them to say yes. So the next couple of pages are going to be about outlining some creative ideas for leverage. Now here's the thing, leverage is what a sponsor does with a sponsorship in order to get a result, because when you're selling sponsorship, you are selling marketing opportunity. It's leverage that creates the results for them. Now, doing leverage, planning leverage, that's the sponsor's job, no question about it. But if you actually go to them with some ideas, it makes it very easy for them to say yes. So although it isn't your job, it's in your best interest to arm yourself with some great creative ideas. So you want to give them some creative ideas for how they can use the sponsorship to achieve their objectives. The way you do that is you put yourself in their shoes and you think, if anything was possible, if I could do anything with this sponsorship at all, if I had all the money in the world, any benefit I wanted, and nobody was going to say no to me, what would I do with this event? And then what you want to do is, sort of brainstorm that with a number of your colleagues and aim to provide around 4 or 5 of the best ideas you come up with. This is going to be the part where they really see how this is going to work specifically for them. The next few pages are going to be about creating and formalizing the actual offer. In other words, getting to the bottom line. For a couple of pages, what I want you to do is to create a comprehensive list of benefits. You want to emphasize those creative benefits that support those interesting leverage ideas you've provided. You want to de-emphasize the more sort of commodity-oriented benefits like logos on things and tickets to things. I'm not saying they're not important or that a sponsor isn't going to want them, but they are not the major benefits that are going to sell the sponsorship for you. There's a good tool called Generic Inventory, which is like 8 pages of potential things that you can offer in terms of benefits, and you can download it from powersponsorship.com from the free stuff area. On the last page, you want to create an investment offer. So you want to make it multifaceted. So you may be requesting a certain amount of money, you may be requesting a certain amount of in-kind or contra support, and you may also be requesting a commitment to doing a certain level or type of leverage support. On this page, you also want to include a draft payment schedule. You are more than welcome to end your proposal there, and if you do, that proposal will be better than 95% of the proposals that any sponsor will receive. If you want to put an extra level of polish on it, though, you can actually do a couple of things that will raise the comfort level of your potential sponsor, making them really want to work with you. What you'll do on your page 13 or thereabouts is to include a few short case studies. They can be in 2 different categories. The first one is how your other sponsors have achieved a commercial return, that is, change perceptions and change behaviors of their target markets. The other one is how other companies have made the most of similar types of sponsorships. You may want to do some research for this because there may be some overseas precedent that can really work in your favor. There you have it, a very short tutorial, but I have plenty more resources to recommend. The first thing you might want to get a hold of is the Sponsorship Seekers Toolkit 3rd edition. This book outlines a step-by-step process for acquiring and servicing sponsors. And most importantly to this tutorial, it has a proposal template that is very complete and laid out exactly how a sponsor wants to see it. You also might want to visit powersponsorship.com. That's my website. There are a lot of free online resources there, including tools, white papers, templates to download, recommended books, and lots more. It also outlines all of my professional services, like consulting, training, strategy sessions, and webinars. In addition, you may want to check out my blog. There are well over 100 blogs on there at the moment, and all of them with a very how-to angle. Thank you very much for spending this time with me. I hope you found it useful.